Welcome back to the Muster Point, the podcast that strokes you with one hand and slaps you round the face with the other. I'm Stu Mendelson, former Royal Engineer and owner of One Gucci Eye Patch.
And I'm Steve Black, former 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, current grease monkey. If you want your car crushing or a machine fixing, I'm your man.
Today we're talking about traditions, from the first time you crossed the equator on a frigate to the weird thing the Welsh regiments do to their mascot. We've got it all.
Grab a brew, a coconut shell full of carver, or raise a glass of port and toast a king.
This is the Muster Point. Let's mount up and prepare to move.
Charlie, Charlie, Wub, move now.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Stuart. How are you doing?
I'm tired, fed up, miserable.
No change.
No change. Are you going
It's been busy, though, isn't it? We've had a lot going on recently. And
We have indeed. I had a little breakdown last weekend, didn't I? Which I shared with you and Chizard and that yesterday.
And everyone else.
And everyone else. I went a bit mad last weekend. It all got a bit too much for me. Passion. Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I just keep trying, I guess.
I think you've got to realise, mate, that not everyone else cares as much as you.
Well, this is the thing. Not everyone not every. Well, I'm trying to think of the words, but not. It'd be ignorant of me to think that everyone else should share the same passion for veterans, isn't it? Like, but I'm sort of falling back into that mindset of there's a lot of words, but words don't mean action.
But it's early days. I know there's a lot to do, but like I said to you many times, don't let it get to you, mate.
I've got ADHD, mate. That's why I want everything fucking now. I'm a recovering addict. Give it to me. Fucking give it to me. But yeah, and this, so we had a few issues with the recording of this episode. So we're recording it again. It should have gone out a couple of weeks. I know people have been missing it. So I particularly am readjusting, refocusing. So hopefully we should be back on board with the Muster Point podcast.
Well, I think the last 2 or 3 episodes, like we haven't got the sound right and things like that, because we've done it remotely, but we think we've cracked it now. We think my laptop was interfering with everything. Yeah. So
it was your laptop's turn this time. Remember the other month when it was my one?
Yeah. But,
so yours was nicely glued together.
Yeah. So fingers crossed it's all hunky-dory now. And
so we're going to cover, so I know particularly with the news, we're going to cover some stuff which is probably a bit old now, but I still think it's funny shit.
Well, no, actually, the stuff that's on the news, a couple of things I put on there is actually new.
Oh,
I brought it backwards.
Oh, right,
it was going to be on the next episode, but I've just brought it back. So and some of the stuff that was there. Yeah, I know. I'll get good at this stuff.
Right, so what I know vitally important is you went to Jay Cartwright's annual graveside thing, didn't you?
Yes,
which was probably a few weeks ago now.
Yeah, it was on the 6th. No, the 14th. He died on the 16th. On the 14th of June, which was a Saturday, a load of us went out and had a good drink up at his grave, and then went out for a couple of beers after, and a couple of a bit of bratwurst and mit poms.
Bratwurst mit poms.
Yeah, that was good.
Was there any buxom ladies in lederhosen?
Nah, there weren't. No. But apparently the building, this was in a pub in London Bridge, a German pub. Okay. Apparently it was haunted. And I said to the woman, like, why is it haunted? Because it was an old grain storage place. And she said, apparently in the First World War, it's where the British used to torture the Germans. I said, I don't know about that, but...
You just don't want to believe it.
No, I can't imagine them bringing all the way back to London Bridge to do it. Surely it'd been in the Tower of London.
Yeah.
If I was going to do it, but... Yeah.
So if you were a British soldier, if you were Steve in 1942 and you were in, like, I don't know, based in the UK looking after German prisoners of war, would you have tortured them?
Depends what they did. Depends who they were, to be fair. If they was ginger, yes.
Yeah.
You got the MSS boys, they're nasty people, aren't they? You know, their ideology is just different to the rest of the German army. I think I'd struggle to be nice to them. I'm saying that. I don't think I would torture them. I wouldn't be nice to them, though.
It's quite a salient point at the moment, isn't it, with the historic prosecutions of troops?
Yeah.
I know. I think on the what did I say? The 14th of July, which is next Monday, there's one of these marches leading up to Parliament Square in front of the Houses of Parliament. It's not classed as a protest. It's just classed as a show of strength in regards, because I believe later on that day they're debating this historic prosecution of soldiers, particularly the SAS has been pretty prevalent in the news. So we'll see what comes of that.
Funny enough, I see a little article the other day. There was a British soldier, a very young lad, was killed by the Taliban. I forgot his name now. He was a Scottish soldier. And he basically left his patrol base on his own. Got caught and mutilated.
Was that when we were there?
No, I think this was a couple of years after. But this ties in with that Marine that executed someone, because I didn't know that. So basically, the whole battle group was crashed out to find him. There was contacts all over the place. And then from what I gather, that when that Marine did what he did and it was filmed, that was the same time. So they're looking for this soldier. They found a Taliban, he's dying, but he's put him out of his misery, right or wrong. But I'm just saying, like, the frustration and the anger of these British soldiers and Marines. Obviously, there's rules of engagement.
There's a line, isn't there, between sort of some squaddie that's off his head, just wanting to kill people, but there's the other side where there's these like armchair lawyers that are saying, in hindsight, if like that incident with the Met copper in London, and they're all analysing the footage, like video footage afterwards, and it's like, he should have done this and he should have done that, and it's like, it's quite easy to say that from the comfort of your armchair, but when you're on the ground in that situation, like
we heard it. Was it 13, 14 years ago? You had the London riots, and I won't say his name, but friends of mine were friends of his, and he was a bit like a Robin Hood, if you like. He was a gangster, a thief, but he looked after his community. So no one went without. He looked after the elderly. Doesn't make it right, but you live by the sword, you die by the sword, unfortunately. And the coppers ain't going to. If they think you've got a gun, then I think they're well in their right to.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking damn right.
It's not quite like America, but in America, they're fearing for their life because everyone's got a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially has a gun. And
So interestingly, you said London, because obviously we're recording today on the 7/7, so it's the 20th anniversary of the London bombings. Do you remember where you were when it happened?
I was on Salisbury Plain. It was an exercise. They stopped the exercise to tell everyone.
Yeah. So I was in phase 2 basic training, like Royal Engineer Combat Engineer training, and we were doing some sort of, I don't know, probably practicing building a shitter or a shower, and the DS stopped it and said, "This is what's happened." And I remember thinking, my mum and dad, because my mum and dad lived in Stevenage at the time, and they were meant to be meeting my sister in London, so I was like, "Fuck!" I goes, "Can I phone my mum and dad?" But it turned out, luckily, they hadn't gone. But it's quite, I just remember, I remember exactly which wood line I was in. But,
Now, a lot of my mates were not there, but they was working. A lot of my mates work in London, and they had to walk home, and it's like 10, 15-mile walk. There was no transport. They just stopped all the transport, and obviously the cabs were just flat out, so they just had to walk home.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry, did you speak about you've done the Jay Cartwright's thing?
So every year a load of us meet at Jay Cartwright's. We always meet on the day he died, which is the 16th. But over the years that's dwindled a little bit because people just can't commit to it. This year I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday. But anyway, so we met on the Saturday, and we've said like it'll always be the Saturday before now. One of my old troop leaders, Greg Hall, he come along. I haven't seen him since I was in the army. He was a proper top troop leader. He weren't like an officer. He was just like one of the lads, quite posh, but he was all right. Yeah, he was my commander when I was a warrior driver, and he insisted that we weren't a warrior, we was a pirate ship. And I wasn't the driver, I was the helmsman. and it weren't left. It wasn't left or right. It was starboard and port, and and I had to go.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, and we just had a laugh driving around Basra, avoiding IEDs. But but the Irish
was
Guard.
you driving or sailing?
Well, so yeah, sailing. Yeah, I'll get slapped for that. But no, the Irish Guards, they didn't have much of a sense of humour. But after a couple of weeks, they did, because I just thought, what the fuck are these blokes on about? But it just makes the day go a bit quicker, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. So,
right, it's down here. So we attended Stevenage Armed Forces Day, which was the 21st of June. Feels like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We were there, muster point. Then you were representing SAFA. Then we had the RBL. There was a model plane in front of us, a big one, life size.
We had the cadets, seeing the Marines.
Yeah. We done some lives, Facebook lives, which I think went all right.
It's funny because that Marine cadet with one leg, well, he's got a broken leg. He wants to join the logistics, didn't he?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
He goes,
I want
to join the army. And we go, what regiment? You at logistics? And it just went silent.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It was quality. Who wants to join that? Like, aim high, mate. Aim high.
I didn't think people heard of logistics till they joined the army.
Yeah, so then I attended the Letchworth Garden City Armed Forces Day the week after, which was honest. It was a bit better, but I think that was where the weekend I started losing my lid. I sent some. What I'd say is I'm ashamed that I sent that email to Kevin and Claire. It was done out of frustration and a boil over of events that week. So if you're listening, guys, I do apologise. It wasn't the right way to go about things, but as you said, Steve, it's just passion, isn't it?
I think we're just lucky that you don't drink, because fuck knows what you would have sent if you was pissed. What's that picture of your arse or something?
Yeah. But I don't know. I emailed the apology. So what?
But we're gonna work with Tina, who organised it. She did do a good job.
I hope so.
At the end of the day, she's not a military person.
Exactly.
Not a military background.
Exactly.
So she's relying on people feeding her information, and over the years, I think it's just, people moan about it, but never really done nothing about it. So,
and I think you're right, Steve. Right, I rush ahead, and obviously I have to remember that we've only been going a certain amount of time. We're still fresh on the scene, and I just need to maybe wind my neck in a bit and just relax and just go with the flow, because we've accomplished so much in such a short space of time.
Also, I don't know whose fault it was, but there was no military presence last year. There was the army recruiting team, the reserves were there. There was none of that this year. However, they was on the list to attend, so maybe that's something that could be addressed a bit more next year.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, we had a good time, didn't we? And and it was nice to see a load of the blokes from the muster point coming up.
Yeah, they turned up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Old Sanderson got a lift home with you, didn't he?
Funny.
Didn't fit in your car.
Was he 6'5", 20 stone, giant of a man? And,
so for those that don't know, Steve actually drives like a shoe. Like that's like his car. He's like, do you remember? It's like that episode from The Simpsons where the guys are in the car, but when Steve looks through the side window, he's looking through the back window like that.
I've got no driving. I'll sit on the back seat.
yeah, exactly. And Sanderson's bigger than you, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a giant of a man.
Oh God!
Yeah, it's funny. He couldn't shut the door. We drove all the way. What's it? 2 or 3 miles, and with him holding the door shut.
Quality.
All I could do is beep 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 beep. No, I think Daz was only there because of my chips. Because I bought a portion of chips, he wouldn't leave me alone. He was like a seagull.
Yeah.
But he was welcome to him. But no, we had a good laugh.
Yeah. So I think it's. I know this wasn't mentioned in the last one, but so the 15th of November. We're having the Muster Point Celebration of Remembrance. It's a Saturday in the venue is the Holiday Inn in Stevenage. So, yeah, keep an eye out for details as they start coming out. It'd be good to see. So I've asked Sleechy. Sleechy is away that weekend, I think, but maybe Bottle, Tom Wellard, Mick Knowles.
Yeah, Bottle said to me that he wants to walk from Portsmouth to Stevenage. It's 96 miles. He wants to do it for charity. I think he said Scotty's Little Soldiers. So maybe we could tie that in.
Well, to be fair, if he does, he could walk via where Stoner lives in South London. I reckon Stoner would jump on that.
Do you know what? That's what he did say. He goes up because he's planning on doing it over 3 days, which is still 30 odd mile a day. It's a good effort. And he said he wants to encourage people to do it with him. So yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then because obviously the morning after I'll be in central London because it's the Tanky Remembrance Sunday because the Tankies have their Remembrance Sunday the week after. So I'll be getting up hungover and going into London. But Bottle could come with me maybe. But we'll speak about that.
And the others.
Yeah, and anyone else.
And
and anyone who the thing is, another thing as well, if Remembrance Sunday's too much for someone, the cenotaph, the idea of it freaks you out. Like I say, I think the week before the Submariners do something, but the Tank Regiment do it the week after. And yeah, there's a couple of thousand, but it's nowhere near as busy. You know, it's 2 or 3 deep. That's it, and it's only around the cenotaph. And then we all go to the Horse and Guardsman, which is the Weatherspoons near Trafalgar Square. It used to be another pub, but we changed it.
Did you just say Tankies like it 2 or 3 deep?
We do.
Yeah, sound.
2 at a time.
2 at a time.
Yeah, so no, it's, like I say, if you wanted to go to the cenotaph and watch a parade, they do it. So
happy days. Should we move on to Armed Forces and Veterans News?
Yep. So I noticed that the government has announced that our nuclear deterrent isn't fit for purpose, but we have 1 nuclear submarine. If that got compromised, that's our nuclear deterrent gone. So they want to have planes that can deliver nuclear payloads. So they've ordered F-35As, which is going to be the next nuclear deterrent. However, they're expecting them by the end of the decade. And I just think, fucking hell, what is the point?
It's only 5 years away, isn't it?
Yeah, but fucking hell, we need it now, surely. Like there's a war around the corner. And yeah, I don't know. How hard is it to make another F-35? Couple of them. Like,
I don't know. Could you do it?
I personally, I'd have a go.
I'd have a go. You're good with your hands, aren't you, Steve?
Yeah. Shit with computers, but I'm good at putting things together. Yeah. But I just think, fucking hell, like, we're America's allies. And I know France do it with I think the Mirages do it, and they're not stealth. So why can't we dig a few tornadoes out or something, or, you know, stick a nuke on them?
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know, it's just weird. But anyway, yeah, so it's in the right, I think, years of neglect, and it ain't just the Tories. Labour before that neglected the armed forces.
Well, what was it? The the subs are like 10 years past their sell-by date.
Yeah, and when we was at Parliament, the Tories were blaming the Lib Dems, weren't they? Because when they was paired up together, the Lib Dems stopped them renewing the submarines. So it's just all blaming each other, but ultimately it's been neglected. So them submariners are doing 200 plus days at sea at a time underwater. That's disgraceful. Like, loads of money, and I'm sure some of them will be happy, but the ones with families and that ain't acceptable.
Yeah. Well, there's one of the F-35s is currently stranded in India, isn't it?
It is, yeah, an F-35B, whatever. I don't know what the difference is. But, yeah, apparently but due to bad weather and low fuel levels, it had to emergency land.
Yeah.
And now it's broken.
Yeah. Which isn't the sort of area of the world you want it to be.
Nah, I know we're allies with them.
There, isn't it?
Yeah, I know we are allies on paper, but I don't think they're that bothered about us, are they?
Ain't they on about sending over a C-17 to load it up into?
I thought they was going to send a Bedford.
But, with the RAF reg.
Yeah. Yeah, so
interesting. Again, this is from a few weeks ago, but it is funny as fuck that obviously that they're now classed as a terrorist group. What is it? Fucking, I can't think of their name. Palestine Action. Got into the runway on Bryce Norton and spray painted a plane.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a bit of banter going around. Everyone's blaming the RAF reg. Obviously, Chizard was on our case going, no, we're not responsible for runways. It's the MPGS. And my experience of MPGS are like blokes with bad backs and dodgy knees, like
good moustaches.
Yeah.
Who smoke a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's 7 million quid's worth of damage. Yeah. But they've caught 4 people and they've been put on remand.
Really? So, remand? Yeah. Terrorist offence, isn't it?
No, it's not. They haven't charged them with terrorism, which I don't get. Because I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before, maybe. But causing serious damage and that could be classed as terrorism, and it definitely is
should
terrorism. And they're outlawing this group as a terrorist group currently. I know they're not at the minute, but I think it should have been terrorism straight away.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm sure the lawyers know what they're doing.
Oh, do they?
Well, I'd like
It
to think.
strikes me as two-tier policing again that everyone goes on about.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's that. It was Glastonbury last weekend, and that.
Yeah, fucking.
Whatever his name was, like calling for death on the IDF or whoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that like middle-aged single mum languishing in prison because she shared some stuff on Facebook. Like,
yeah, I know it was wrong what she did, but she wasn't inciting hatred. She just said, was it something along the lines of burn all the hotels with a minute for all I care. Not go and burn it.
Which fair enough. Like that's unacceptable language, I think.
Yeah,
Like they're fucking a guy that's broadcasting and performing in front of the entire world because it was broadcast on BBC. That's all right. I don't.
It's, again, like nothing's happened. I know there is a criminal investigation, but
fucking getting banged up.
Yeah, America have cancelled these visas. I think the EU have cancelled all these visas and stuff. So they're doing a lot more than we are. But they should be straight away it's inciting hatred.
Yeah, exactly. Which is wrong on every level. Like no matter who you are.
Yeah.
And
but I think it's just one of these punk sort of.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it?
Yeah, anarchist fucking idiots.
But his music's shit. So
yeah. To be fair, singing that song about you want your country back. Fuck you. What a load of shit. But it's the people singing along to it. I think, you're fucking idiots. Yeah. But these people, I say they're idiots, they're probably not. They're probably all fucking doctors and fucking teachers.
Yeah, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I hope they don't listen to this. And if you do, phone in. We want a piece of you.
Yeah.
What other news we had? Is that it? Is that it for the news?
That's about it, yeah.
All right, go on to the listener sit rep, Steve. We're keeping it tight today.
Yeah. So we had a bloke called Paul. Never heard from him before, but nice bloke. He said he sent in a job in Hertfordshire. I think it was in Ware. Yeah, it was
Where?
Ware. For those who don't know, there's a place called Ware, W-A-R-E. Yeah. But it was something
in
like
Hertfordshire.
Yeah, I've got it written down. I'll bring it to the Breakfast Club.
But so what's the job?
It was something like moving fine art or something like that. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know or have never been to Ware, that is the sort of job I could imagine going on in Ware. Like it's that sort of vibe, innit?
Yeah.
Have you been? You must have been there, Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got no we like accuracy and details on this podcast. So we've got no details. All we know is it's
I have.
Right.
No, I've got details. But it's pointless sharing it on here. But that was on a website called civvyjobs.com.
Okay.
That's CIVVY jobs.com. And I had a quick look, and there's loads of jobs on there. And
is there?
Yeah, so it's worth looking. And also, if anyone has used them before, he said he hasn't. He's just come across it and wanted to share it. Which I think fair play. But if anyone...
he sounds like a weird bloke wanking over job adverts.
He loves it. Probably Raff Ridge. But, no, if anyone's used Civic Jobs, please let us know. But I'll say it's a nice website. It looks like a military-themed website.
They all do, don't they, when they jump on the old bandwagon?
But I'd like to know if they're really good. Yeah. A bloke called Sailor Ben, we've had him before a long time ago. He's not a civvy no more. He's in full-time employment. He's finished his probation.
Is this the guy that last time we heard from him, he was transitioning, wasn't he?
Yes, from the military, not any other way.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. We just need to clarify that in 2025, don't we?
Yeah. But he got help. He said his resettlement through the armed forces was crap. But Mawson's talent helped with his resettlement. He said they'd done one-to-one interviews on Zoom or Teams, whatever, helped with his CV, interview techniques, and recruiting. And they have permanent, contract jobs. They have a good website as well. But I think they do a lot of training as well. So give them a look.
And that's Mawson's talent. Yeah.
If you're getting out, look at because they're offering free advice at the end of the day. I know the CV writing course is all right. What I did, it was okay. I thought it was brilliant. And then when I got out, people looked over my CV and went, actually, it looks like a robot's wrote it,
Yeah.
But either way, I've never done a CV before, so it was useful for me. But like I say, these blokes have got lived experience, and they're all military as well. We see all ex-military.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had something something came in or someone raised the question, because obviously, I don't know if you've seen in the media lately that Keir Starmer, and they announced that the Armed Forces Covenant is coming into law fully. And I got asked like what this means. And in reality, it means nothing at the moment, because all they discussed in Parliament the extension of the Armed Forces Act. So the Armed Forces Act has to be renewed every 5 years, and with the possibility of an extension for a year. So they have to go through the due process. It's just a formality. They have to discuss it in Parliament. Yeah, we're going to extend it for a year. So the Armed Forces Act 2026 has to have royal ascension, which means it gets passed into law by December 2026. So everything that you've been hearing in the media, nothing's going to change to at the earliest January 2027. And I just want to make that clear, because a lot of the stuff that comes out on Facebook by the RBL and the press releases, it seems to me, it gives the image that, oh, right, as of today, everything's in law. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. All they've done is agreed to the extension, and we should see some change in January 2027. But should. Oh, yeah,
there's already laws that are missed out, like the housing and all that sort of stuff. So no one can be held accountable. That's the trouble with these laws.
Well, they're proposing that there's going to be some accountability measures put in, but words, I say words, they mean nothing. Yeah. But yeah, I was wondering, because obviously I'm a bit confused. So on one of the episodes, whether it was the one that we failed to, this one that were re-recorded, I had some questions, but I think they've already gone out. Remember, I had some questions.
Yeah, I think they've
already gone out. All right, we'll forget about that.
If not, we'll do it another time. Right, so we've smashed through all that. So now,
we're going on frontline focus.
Yeah, so I've done it wrong actually. It's traditions, this one.
Yeah. We're talking about traditions. So old traditions, new traditions, traditions you've heard of, traditions you've witnessed. What have you got any, Steve?
Well, the Tank Regiment traditions, the Royal Tank Regiment Black Beret. It's the only regiment in the British Army that's allowed to wear a black beret. There is a reserve, reserve or TA, what do you call it? The Westminster Dragoons, they wear a black beret. That's just for an affiliation with the Second Royal Tank Regiment years ago. But anyway, so in 1924, the black beret was first worn, and it was approved by George V. And then in 1935, George V approved that they could wear black coveralls. Okay. Get this; these are all Tankies are proud of their black uniform. It's different, I suppose. And then there's if you're a full crewman means you are a driver, gunner, loader. You can do map reading, signals. You can do everything, but not the commander. But you wear a tank badge, a World War One. Yeah, I forgot on there. That badge there. That was designed in 1916. And it was first worn officially in 1917. And I say it's still worn by tank crews now in their overalls and their number twos. So yeah,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I've noticed after hanging around with you for a bit, and I think you've said it to me before, and it went over my head. But you wear your cap badge over the centre of your forehead. Is it, or is that just you fucking fucking around? Like,
I don't mind sort of in between. It's sort of, I know what you mean. Obviously, you meant to wear your cap badge over your left eye. Traditionally, Tankies wore theirs in the centre of their head with it folded over both sides. I think that comes from looking through a periscope. And, your headset on your head, it's just sort of folded that way. So you'll see a lot of people in black uniforms with their cap badge right in the centre of their head. I say mine's more like there.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I was like, should I pick him up on that?
Yeah, does he just look like a dickhead? Or...
so it is a thing, but I'm hearing that it's sort of been phased out, as it were.
It has, and it comes back every now and again, but I think it's pretty much gone now, to be quite honest. Now you have your cap badge there. You got to wear a flat cap.
An airborne.
Yeah.
Like an airborne god.
Yeah, I see a picture the other day. I think it was Russ from Military Veterans Football Club was sending me. I was talking to him a lot the other day, and he's sending me some funny picture, or not funny, but I was like, look at the state of their berries. It was the rifles. I don't know what battalion, but some of their cap badges were literally like the side of their head. And I thought,
they think it's alley, don't they?
Yeah,
Gucci as fuck.
The trouble is, their sergeant majors probably think it's cool as well. Yeah. But yeah, I just, for me, you wear the cat badge on the front of your head because you want people to see your cat badge. Like, if you've got it on the side of your head and you're in a rifle, you're just a green beret. Could be anyone. So, yeah, I don't know.
I had the one just come to my head. Do you know, obviously, the Navy salute with their palms down, didn't they? Do you know why that is?
Because something to do with dirty hands.
Yeah, dirty palms, didn't they? Because of the working on a ship, I guess. But yeah,
I don't get that because the army are known as pongos because we stink and we're always dirty. So, yeah.
I don't think it was. I did. I mean, when we first recorded this, I think I looked into it a bit more, but I've forgotten. But it wasn't always the case. It sort of like when the Navy was first formed, that wasn't the case. It sort of came in slightly afterwards.
When, you know, like films like Master and Commander and old films, they sort of just do that, like more like a little just tap on the head.
Yeah. But I think that's where I think that was like the original salute, wasn't it? Like,
because I've also heard that it's set to do with the knight's visor, to lift the visor to show your face. I don't think anyone really knows the origin of it. When you Google it, you get such mixed answers. But,
I think I mentioned last time about what's it called? The old mess do's. So like things like you had the bottle of port, so it had to always be passed to the left. The bottle could never leave the table, even when you were pouring it. And it's in the engineers and possibly other regiments, the port bottle was put in some sort of case, so you couldn't see how much was left. And the person that poured the last drop was then responsible for getting the next bottle of port in. But other weird traditions in mess do's were, so there was like someone called Mr. Vice, who was like the master of ceremonies, and you couldn't get up to go for a piss until he said it was okay. And that included the wives and girlfriends that were in the mess do. Otherwise you'd get fined and fined. Yeah, I'm fucking losing my mind. But like the amount of wives that would be like, "Nah, fuck this, I'm going for a piss," and their husband would end up getting in the shit for it. I also remember one I had from last time, the VC. So even the king has to salute the VC. Obviously, there's not many that many surviving VC holders, but if they're in their dress uniform wearing the VC, then even like you could be like a fucking a private, and your CO would have to salute the VC.
Yeah,
because obviously it's worth highlighting that you don't actually salute the person, you salute the commission, didn't you?
Yeah, because it did it all. Every now and again, you get an officer just doesn't salute you back, and I know some people used to pull them up for it. Go, wait, I have some respect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go to the effort of raising my fucking hand for you, sir.
And to be fair, most tanky officers were all right. You know, it was quite informal, probably because you're in a tank together. But I know, working with other regiments, some of their officers were really up their own arses.
Yeah.
So.
I obviously there seems to be, it's becoming a new tradition of the RAF Reg not being able to protect runways. Obviously there was the Battle of Bastion. Now there was the Battle of Brize Norton. So yeah, what's the next one going to be, lads? Like, you need to get your acts together. Chisholm, get a grip of them. Hey, you got any more, Steve? I can't remember what I had, to be fair, but
I've got loads sent in.
Go on then, read them out.
So, Nijmegen platoon, Grenadier Guards, which I always hear that the Trooping of the Colour. I always hear Nijmegen platoon. I asked the Phantom Bearskin, and he said it's where the new lads go. Basically, it's a traditional ceremonial platoon or company. I can't remember now, but the new lads tend to go there to hone their skills as a guardsman before they go to the battalion.
But as in they practice standing still.
Yeah, polishing things.
Yeah.
He sent a voice note in, a video actually, of some of their traditions.
Are we going to play it?
We can play it.
We're going to play it now, because I'm going to put a mark where... Yeah, so, okay, we'll listen to that now, shall we?
Yeah. So, Phantom Bearskin, the Grenadier Guards must have some unusual, weird and unique traditions. Would you mind sharing some of them with us?
Yeah, there's some bizarre ones. But, God, Christ almighty ours, yeah. I think this is the one, the 3rd Battalion. That used to be the Inkerman Company, which used to be the 3rd Battalion. I think it's left over from their time on ship or whatever. The senior guardsman's allowed to grow a rat's tail, but it's got to be dipped in tar and kept to a certain length. What else? Yeah, you know the one about not saying yes. You're not allowed to say yes as a grenadier. And that's why you'll find a lot of grenadiers. I do it habitually. Anyway, my mum's Jockanese and my dad's from Durham anyway, so I've probably got it in my blood. But you don't say yes because obviously there's an alternative to yes, which means that you're agreeing with the order and you never question an order. So you're not allowed to say yes. So if someone says, go and move that bucket of coal, yeah, you go, sir, son. But most guys I used to get around it by saying I, sir, I, yeah. So I still say it to this day. I mean, were you fucking Scottish? No, just say I. Yeah, another one. You don't say civvies. You get caught saying civvies, you'll get a dig. Because anything that's non-uniform is called plain cloth. So yeah, and they'll still say it to this day. Right, get changed. After you're going to get knocked off on a Friday, and it's sort of knock off in civvies, sort of 2 o'clock after command officer's PT and a bit of scoff. Right, yeah, right. Fall back in at 2 o'clock in plain cloth.
Is that a guards thing?
Yeah. I believe so. I'm not sure if it transcends into the rest of the battalions. Maybe the Welsh, if they're closely related to us. But yeah, the plain cloth thing. Right almighty. Yeah, it got me thinking now.
We've just had trooping in a colour. Have you got any funny traditions, or what's it like before then?
Yeah, well, yeah. You're not supposed to drink the night before. I think everyone does. Yeah, we do it exactly the same as any other duties, particularly the cenotaph, because you stood there a fucking long time. One changed arms like every half hour. And I don't think I've done, well, I did a couple. I've never been sober on either of them. And guard mounting as well. If you get a lot of the sort of the non-commissioned officers in their pads and they live in, if they live out, the opportunity for a night before guard, because normally you get to the armory about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah, they use that night before to get slammed. And if you're ordered to attend, some absolutely messes. But the troop, yeah, that's one of them. And the boiled sweets as well. I don't know if they still do it, but to give you a bit of energy, they used to do those. You remember in the Rat Packs, you used to get little boiled sweets in the white paper. They used to dish them out beforehand to give you a bit of a sugar rush. And the challenge was to see if you can unwrap. Well, me and a couple of my mates used to see if you can get it unwrapped just using your tongue by the time you'd marched down the horse guards. And a good one was when the escort goes forward to collect the colour, and then they march through and troop the colour in slow time through the ranks. It used to be good sport to see if you could spit the ball sweets into their bearskins as they're marching past you. So you get the escort, and it just shows up on TV. You might see a couple of tufts in their bearskins, but generally got ball sweets stuck in them. Another one, which is always really funny, is because you march down there with bayonets unfixed, and you fix bayonets when you get a horse guards when you get into line, and it's really, really good fun. You know, the top of fag packets. Rip the top of a fag packet. And if you can get your mate's bayonet, if he's in front of you, and stuff it in the bayonet, of course you can't fix bayonets. And all you hear is a couple of rank in front or a couple of files down, like, oh, fuck you, for fuck's sake. And then as soon as your rifle movement, ching, ching, his bayonet falls off. That's generally quite a good one. Or someone's medals, if you're brushing them off, say, come here, and you can manage to get behind the medals and unclip it. So, yeah, it's going to work its way off. And yeah, we're marching around horse guards. Same with magazines. Yeah, you end up again. You probably can't see it on the TV, but you're kicking bayonets. If you see someone's medals, it's jack as fuck. But you see someone's medals, you're playing football with them as you're marching around, and magazines and stuff like that. Yeah, that was quite a good one. Bit of a stitch up, but yeah, again, typical things we used to do on Queen's Guard as well. If you can get someone's bearskin unattended, you get their curb chain. If it's a really, really hot one, you get the curb chain, you see it's like brass links, but it's got japanned leather, big thick leather underneath. And there's 2 like strops that you hook up inside your bearskin. You unhook it and you give it a good rimming. So it just smells a sweaty bum. And of course, they've got it sat on their butt because it sits under the bottom lip. And of course, as their face heats up, it heats up and they get the whiff of your ass for the rest of the time. And you get a bod. breakdancing, particularly if you've had a big one the night before. And yeah, the other one was boot polish, put boot polish on it. And of course, as soon as they sweat, they've got a chin look like an Everton min. That's generally good. But all good stuff, all jack as fuck, yeah.
It's like a rite of passage, isn't it, for the senior lads to play pranks on the new lads, and they'll get their turn after a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it could get merciless, and I hope a lot of this has stopped now because it was, it's quite perilous. But yeah, you get the young guardsmen at Buck Palace. The guard room, you live in accommodation above the guard room, and up at the windows there's like mesh cage. So I suppose it'd be for, I don't know, some sort of bomb attack or whatever to stop you getting covered in glass. Well, you can shut those cages. You get the junior bod, and I had all sorts of nightmares done to me as a junior bod. You stuff them in there and shut them in the cage and leave them in there like till about 30 seconds before they're due on stag. So they've got to get dressed. They've got to get downstairs. Where's the next pair? You've got to get your rifle, sign for your rifle. And so they're in a panic. And Bod used to super glue the cuffs of their tunics together and super glue the legs of their tweeds. The trousers are called tweeds, so they can't get their hands through, and they panic and have to cut it up. Yeah, it is pretty merciless. And I recall one good one. St James's Palace. The first two guys that go on stag after the guard mount, after you've changed guard, are the junior pair. And you know, you get scoff outfits, you used to get the big tubs of Screech, the massive sort of, the slush puppy things of Screech. You used to call it fizzy chicken because it's like, don't know what colour it is, what's it taste like? It's like chicken. Well, there was two lads, a lad called Cowboy, and I can't remember the other guy. But anyway, senior bod bullying. I hope this finished to this sort of these days. But yeah, the junior pair, before they go out, they got half hour before they go out. You just look at that thing and screech and go, right, get drinking. Get fucking drinking. And they got drink as much. Oh, going to be sick. Doesn't matter if you be sick, drink some more. Stay hydrated. And of course, they go on stag, and you start getting a little sweepstakes together. Right, who's going to need a piss first? And in the sentry boxes, there's a red and a white and a black button. The red button is if all hell breaks loose. So you're getting attacked or whatever, and you'll be surprised who descends from where, sort of the armed police and stuff like that. And, it's all hands to the pump. The white button is for when, say when the king's in, when the monarch's in, and it's raining, you dress back into the boxes. And the way you communicate with each other, a salute, you just stand at attention because obviously you start jabbing things with a bayonet in the box. And two buzzes, there's a senior bod who's on the right-hand box or the left-hand box as you look at them. They have to say, dress back out, come back out, stop raining or dress back out. And then the black button is if it's in case anyone's bothering you or you're sick or whatever, something goes wrong and you want to speak to the guard room, you buzz the guard room and the lance corporal who's on duty will come out and see what's up. So you're in the guard room like that. Right, who's going to need a piss first? I reckon it's going to be 6 folks. No, 7 posts. Right, we've got 3 fags, 3 Lambert and Butler that says it's going to be blah, blah, blah. Half an hour. Right, 6 posts. Sort of 5 minutes later. Poor sod's obviously busting for a piss. And there's nothing from the other box. Right, what's the crack here then? Been out there an hour and a half now and he hasn't pressed the buttons. Right, anyway, the lance corporal goes out and relieves them. They come back in. And this lad just sprints into St James's Palace garden, flings his bearskin off, drops his gat. He doesn't give a shit. But popping buttons off, just busting for a piss. He managed to hold it in. The other guy just strolls in, nonchalantly. Don't you need a piss, mate? Not anymore, mate. He just slammed himself. I knew no one was going to come and get me, so fuck yeah. And he just pissed himself.
Good lad.
That's quite a good one. Or cutlery. Yeah, cutlery and people bayonet frogs. When you march out St James's Palace in single file, first free halt on the right, which has got the right-hand man, second next to you, walking out. You go from the high port, shoulder arms, dress off, stand at ease. Yeah, well, just before they march out, because once you marched out, that's it, you're in front of all the tourists. You grab them, and you're shoving cutlery down the back of their belt and spooning the bayonet frog. So when you get inspected, all you hear behind you is, sake, ching, 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 ching. Getting rid of cutlery. That's always a winner. And That's the sort of tradition you're on about.
Mate, that's exactly what I was on about. Thank you so much, Phantom Bearskin. We'll definitely hear from you again. Cheers, mate.
And that was the Phantom Bearskin. It's becoming a regular feature.
Yeah, he's a funny bloke. He's a very interesting bloke. I had a chat with him for about an hour and a half a little while ago, and yeah, we had a laugh. Very very like-minded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's had a eventful life.
He's a cadet instructor, isn't he?
Yes, combined cadet force instructor. He was out when we was doing our armed forces weekend. I think he was out. Yeah, because it was scorching hot, wasn't it? And he was out on the.
Oh yeah, that was it.
I think he was on Salisbury Plain. I think because yeah, he was on Balford Ranges at one point. But,
He said his body was falling apart.
Yeah,
Like doing his, what was it, the RTR return fire thing. Like
take
I'm
cover.
up, I'm running, I'm down, I'm up, I'm
return
down,
fire, take
I'm
cover,
still down.
return appropriate fire, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, proper funny bloke. But yeah, so thanks for that. Dog, my brother-in-law, he said the Fast Jet Boys.
Oh, you've got to do the little intro for him. Doggy, doggy. We'll go on.
Snoop, diggy, dog. He never worked on fast jets. He was helicopters. I think he mainly Merlin. But he said there was plenty of stories. He said that new lads got locked in the cockpit, and the only way they was allowed out was if they raised their left hand and showed the sticky spider's web. And they basically had to have a wank whilst everyone watches them while they're in the cockpit.
Yeah. Typical RAF, that.
Yeah, I'm sure the referee had to do with that. Feggy. So Feggy said stickies and beer. I'm not sure if that was an army thing. That was definitely a second Royal Tank Regiment thing. It was just forbidden. And if you got caught with a chocolate bar and a beer, there was always
what was the punishment? What's the punishment?
Well, you had a kangaroo court, and then the senior person always found you guilty. But then you ended up with your dick being whipped with a beer-soaked knotted bootlace. And
well, I remember because you still abide by this little
I can't do
tradition, and your missus carries around a bootlace.
She does. She's got a bike chain.
Yes, Mrs. Black.
I've been out on a piece with my army mates, and it don't bother them no more. I just can't do it. I was scarred. But then when I was about 17, I got done by it. My loader Paul took me down the bar, bought me a pint, and because in the bar they sell chocolate bars to catch people out. And do you want a Mars bar? Oh, cheers, Paul. Yeah. As soon as I bit it, get your knob out. What?
Yeah.
And they got lynched. Take shoelaces out. Come on. So then after that, I wore loafers.
Oh God.
Paul the Sailor. We've spoke about this before, but crossing the line, which was when you go across the equator.
There's a name for it, isn't it? Trident.
Well, he said for the first time for all sailors involved, a mocked initiation ceremony where someone dresses like King Neptune and everyone else looks like something from the sea. The sailors get dunked upside down in a mock-up paddling pool, and normally force-fed rum, and it's hundreds of years old tradition.
Yeah,
I say that documentary, that series they done, Warship, I think it is. You see it on there, and it's fucking brilliant.
They all got involved though, didn't they?
Yeah, it was mental, from the captain of the ship down to the whatever ranks they are, I don't know, seaman.
Seaman Staines.
Yeah. Creasy sent in I don't know why, because he's a tanky, but he's got a soft spot for the King's Royal Hussars. He said, this is a tradition for the King's Royal Hussars, but it comes from the amalgamation of loads of regiments over the years. So when they first become mechanised, when they went from donkeys to armoured vehicles, they had a brown beret, which they still wear now, but they didn't wear a cap badge because they was only issued one cap badge at the time. And because they're cavalry, they have a ceremonial uniform that was on there. They kept the cap badge on their forage cap, so they didn't wear cap badges at the time. That's probably in between the First and the Second World War. They wear pink trousers, which I'm pretty sure they don't call pink, but
salmon.
They was gifted to them by His Royal Highness Prince Albert because they escorted him on his wedding day, and he later became their colonel in chief. They wear a crossed Gurkha's cookery badge, and that was given to them by the Gurkhas when they fought together in Italy in the Second World War. And the Gurkhas wear a Prussian eagle on their sleeves, which was a gift from the King's Royal Hussars.
That was the one we brought up, the Gurkha cookery, wasn't it? Like the tradition. Although, again, it's probably what you said, Steve, like, is it actually true? Where if they draw their kukri, which is like a bladed weapon. Then they have to draw blood.
Like a curved machete, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also mentioned Prince Albert there. I think I mentioned last time that I had a Prince Albert. I didn't get gifted any salmon trousers, but I got some metal through my penis, which was interesting.
When I was at Bovington doing my phase 2, one of the Queen's Royal Hussars lads could have done with some pink trousers because he got his done when he was out in the piss. And they probably tell you not to drink because it thins your blood.
Yeah.
He had white or cream jeans when that was a thing,
Oh.
and it bled. Yeah, it was disgusting. Like I say, he could have done with pink trousers to hide that. But
I actually went, because I got mine done in a tattoo studio. I went in there for a tattoo and they said, no, you're going to have to book it in so we can plan and everything. I was like, oh, okay. I'll have my dick pierced then, please. And he put some numbing spray on it. So it didn't hurt, but you could sort of hear and feel the crunch as it went through.
oh,
yeah. Oh, to be young again, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, to be young.
Have you not got it no more?
No, I took it out after a month because, they give me some certain things that I shouldn't do within the first 4 to 6 weeks, and I'd done them, and it was like pissing razor blades, and so I just thought I'd take it out. I've had my fun with it, so
yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Right, so I got a voice note from Sleechy.
okay.
All right, lads, how's it going? Sleechy here reporting for
Can you hear that all right?
Yeah.
duty, reporting in from the shed, Seep HQ. Yeah, so, unusual or weird or whatever traditions. Yeah, I've got one. Do you know, like, in all regiments, when you're a new lad, you either get called a sprog or a nig or whatever. Well, in our mob, in the Fusiliers, we didn't have sprogs or nigs. You were called a red arse. And the reason you were called a red arse is because when you first got to battalion, you used to get fucking held down and initiated, held down by some senior lads and initiated into the battalion by having some fucking senior bod sink his fucking teeth into your cheek of your arse until it bled, hence the word red arse. So that's why all new Fusiliers are called red arse. Never happened to me because I came from another unit and I'd already done a few years, so I fucking luckily bypassed that one. But there you go, red arse, get your arse bit. Fucking horrible, really, but there you go. Anyway, hope you're all good, guys. Speak to us soon. Take it easy. Yo.
Do you think he was lying? Do you think he did get it done? He's like, I didn't get it done because I come from another unit.
Or was he the bum biter?
Yeah, 100% he was.
Yeah, he loved a bit
Fucking
of bum.
100%.
I've heard red arse before.
Yeah.
Weren't a phrase that was overly used in my regiment, but I have heard it before.
Yeah, I think I have. I also the other arse one was shiny arse, which was mainly like your clerks and that, because they don't get up off their chair, off the seated position, therefore wearing out the bum area of their combat 95s quicker. Oh, what's going on, Steve?
I've got another voice now. I'm just trying to find it.
Looks like you're having a wank or something.
He don't message me in messages. He always sends me voice notes. Right, so I've got a couple of short voice notes here from Glazy.
Yeah, we've got a couple. We obviously call a bayonet a sword. If you call it a bayonet, you get probably beaten up by someone. We have a phrase called wank dirge, which basically means good, but it can also mean bad. That's going to take a lot of explaining, that one.
A wank
A couple of blokes in the green jackets.
A
couple of blokes in the green jackets back in the day had a weird tradition where they killed a woman and buried her with entrenching tools, but I don't know if that really caught on. The studios do the audio version of it.
Fucking hell. That was out in Iron Apple, wasn't it? That's why all squaddies were banned in Iron
I
Apple.
know we should laughing
hell.
about it, but we're not taking the piss out of it. We are.
Well,
Dark sense of humour.
I think we're laughing at the fact that it didn't become a tradition, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But as we said earlier on, there's always psychopaths somewhere, and
I don't think they just killed it though, did they? I think they did other things before.
it wasn't a good look for the British Army, was it?
No. Yeah, that was the Green Jackets though. I think he was 2nd Battalion. I think they become four rifles from.
Yeah. But all those rifle, green jackets, light infantry, they're all fucking horrible bastards, aren't they?
But them ones, like Glazy, 4 rifles or 2 RGJ, they were the scruffiest people. They was proud of being scruffy. Like their sideburns were like right down there. They just looked like a bag of shit. Like, but they was proud about that. That was part of their tradition. And he was saying when they become 4 rifles, because they amalgamated with other regiments, got moved into them, that sort of went away. He said like full screws were getting pulled up for their appearance, which don't normally happen. When you get to full screw, you're normally presentable. But yeah, he said he had enough of it by that point. So that's one of the reasons he got out. But
nice.
Yeah. No, good. That was good lads. I was with them in Iraq, and I got on well with them. And they're from the southeast as well. So a lot of 2 RTR from the southeast. So we just got on well. It's nice having people with the same accent.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think my squadron was from North Yorkshire, and I was like one of the few Southerners. And in Afghan, we was on a patrol, and we ended up meeting up with a platoon of Anglians and walking into this compound, and they're all from like Essex and that, and it's like, fucking hell. Yes, boys.
Yeah.
Right.
The only other thing I've been sent in is Bottle send in a little history lesson. I mentioned a little while ago I went to France, and the 4th Royal Tank Regiment got wiped out, and there's not much recognition from. Well, he let me know that the 3rd Royal Tank Regiment had a similar experience at Dunkirk, and again, there's no recognition of it. So he sent me a history lesson.
All right.
So
let's have a listen to that.
Hi boys, hope you're doing well. Your Armed Forces Day set up looked really good. Fair play to you. I spent all my Armed Forces Day tabbing around Chichester Harbour. I've done 50k. So Steve asked me to do determinant on 3 RTR. When I heard his piece about 4 RTR and the counter-attack at the Battle of Arras, I said, I messaged him and said, have you heard about 3 RTR in the siege of Calais in 1940 on the same day, or around about the same time as the big counter-attack? And he asked me to do a voice note, so I'm going to try my best. As we all know, speaking isn't my forte. So 3 RTR was supposed to be going to Normandy to meet with the 1st Heavy Armoured Brigade, which is where they were part of. But because of the situation in Calais, they got basically turned around mid-sailing to go to Calais. So a quick overview of the situation. Heinz Guderian, he's leading the German army, smashes through the French, and they get to the coast. Boulogne was the target, and that's where they got to. Now, this is bad because the Allies have been cut in 2. You've got the French to the south covering Paris, and you've got part of the French army, the bulk of the BEF, and the Belgian army holding this enclave around the channel ports of Calais, Boulogne, Dunkirk, and such like that. So 3 RTR was supposed to be going to Normandy to meet with the 1st Heavy Armoured Brigade, which is where they were part of. But because of the situation in Calais, they got basically turned around mid-sailing to go to Calais. So the troops left Dover while their tanks were in Southampton, and the troops arrived first. They arrived at 1 p.m. But there's no armour for them to hold, so they've been told to hide in the sand dunes around Calais. The tanks arrive at 4 p.m. and they take a long time to take their tanks off because the port is under fire and it's under air attack. So at this point, they're waiting and waiting. There's a lot of to and fro with the port workers and the captain of the ship because he wants to leave with the tanks on. So one of the officers from 3 RTR pulls out a pistol and holds it to his head until all the tanks are unloaded. So 22nd, 3 RTR are finally set up. They've got 21 light tanks, 27 cruiser tanks. They're formed just outside Calais. They send out recce patrols to see what's going on, to see if the road to Gravelines is still open. So after a day of recce's, on the 22nd and 23rd, 3 RTR drive back a massive counter-attack from 4th Panzer, and they've got supporting guns too. They lose 12 tanks, but they drive off the Germans holding the lodgement. Later that night, 4 tanks try to clear the road to Gravelines. So they go driving through. The Germans think they're German tanks. They even allow them through their lines, through everything. It doesn't really hit the Germans that they're British tanks till about 2 hours later, and at that point they fire their way over a bridge, killing loads of Germans and getting to Gravelines. So all day on the 23rd, 3 RTR are fighting. They're doing blocking positions, holding the panzers off, and this is whittling down their numbers. So with the 4 tanks making it through, the British think the road is open, so they form up a huge convoy, because whilst all this is happening, food, supplies, ammunition are still going to Calais, and men are going back who aren't needed in the siege. So in Calais, a huge convoy is being set up to carry rations, food and ammunition. There's around 350,000 boxes of food and rations, and they need to get this to Dunkirk, where the British Army is trying to reconstitute itself. So they set off an RTR, the armoured protection, and they drive straight into 4th Panzer. Huge engagement, and the Germans have set up basically a screen of guns, and they fight the British. And we tried to get ourselves through, but it didn't work, and but an RTR had to fall back. Also on the 24th, RTR are trying to hold off 8th Panzer on the other side of the lodgement, and they're being hit by 88, and the British haven't got anything to answer it, so tanks are being knocked out, and they're doing suicidal charges head on. So by the 25th, RTR's only got 3 operational tanks left. They've basically wiped themselves out, doing suicidal charges against 4th and 8th Panzer. Most of the regiment is either injured, wounded, captured, and what remains fights as infantry inside Calais. Also on the 25th, the Germans send over for an officer to see Brigadier Nicholson, who is the commander of the Calais garrison. He says, "We will not surrender because it is our duty as British soldiers to fight on." On the night of the 25th, the Germans launch a huge attack with tanks, artillery and air power, and the British are pushing further and further into Calais. But on the 26th, everything's hopeless. They've ran out of ammunition and they're completely cut off. The last remnants of the garrison surrender. 3 RTR is basically wiped out, apart from the few men that made it back to Britain on those ships. 4,000 British prisoners were taken in the siege of Calais. Pretty much all of RTR as a regiment were captured. After the battle, the regiment was reconstituted and they were given all new tanks and colours. After that, and it would go on to fight in Africa, Greece, France and Germany until the end of the war. If the Calais garrison didn't hold on as long as they did, the Dunkirk lodgement couldn't have held, which means the British Army would have been effectively wiped out. 300,000 men would have been taken prisoner by the Germans. The sacrifice of 3 RTR and the other men of the Calais garrison should be more well known, because the bulk of the British Army that got away at Dunkirk formed the army that defeated Nazi Germany in Africa and in Europe.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
there was talk about so we want to, maybe you can start factoring it in our guest segments. So we wanted Sleechy's Soapbox, didn't we, where we can pose questions to Sleechy and his take and outlook on life. And you come up with another one, didn't you, Steve? About Bottle's history lessons.
Yeah, we've got the stuttering historian.
Yeah.
It's funny because what he sent me, it's a 5 or 6 minute clip.
Well, we've listened to it, haven't we?
Yeah, and I'm saying, but no, but what I'm saying is he sent me that in about 20. I think it was 21 short voice notes.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't talk for more than 20 seconds at a
That's
time.
what we want from him, innit?
Yeah, but it'll be half hour then. But so he sent me all these. You can still see him. Like,
Have you got them all? Have you got them all?
Yeah, I've still got them. No, but
put them in your folder. I want to use them.
But you can see the stutter on the on the graph when you're editing it. But I'll put all them together anyway, and it took me a while. But yeah, it's quite interesting. And again, you've got to remember, every tank regiment there would have been an infantry battalion with that as well. So we need to get a bit more information there. Plus all the support units, the wedgeheads, the ref reg.
Reg, yeah. Get involved. Get involved.
But yeah, if anyone's got anything they want, he likes Second World War, but he could talk about anything.
Or not, as the case may be.
Oh yeah, but he'll do a bit of research and he'll let us know. So if anyone's got I think he said the Battle of Britain 85th anniversary is coming up, so he'll do something on that. But if anyone's got a battle they want him to talk about, and he's got quite a nice voice, yeah, let us know. As I say, with the Sleechy thing, anyone's got a question or a problem they want Sleechy to answer or solve, send it in.
Yeah, sound. Right, Muckers remembered this week. It's a personal one for you, Steve, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So it's Nikki Scott, the wife of your mucker Lee Scott, because he died around this time, was it, Steve?
Yeah, 10th of July 2009.
So let's listen to Nikki's Muckers Remembered.
I'm remembering my husband, Corporal Lee Scott, who served in the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment and was killed in Afghanistan on the 10th of July 2009. We remember Lee every single day in my home. So we had 2 young children, Kai and Brooke. There's loads of stuff that we do to remember Lee. Obviously, we've set up a charity in his memory, Scotty's Little Soldiers, but also it's things like making sure the children know type of guy he was. Like often Brooke will look like him or pull a face like him, and me just saying, "God, you look like your dad," means so much to her. Kai will often talk about things that Lee used to like eating, point out yogurts in Tesco's. Like we still do all that stuff years on. I think it's really important in helping keeping his memory alive and helping him feel a presence in our house. I remarried and had another daughter, and her middle name is Lee after Lee. So there is he's a massive part of our life, even though he's no longer here physically with us. So yeah, today I'm remembering Corporal Lee Scott as we do every day.
That was quite a fitting one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a wonderful woman. You know, she's done amazing things. She's very humble about it as well. She doesn't take any credit for what she's done.
Yeah.
But
so we've interviewed for the Beyond the Wire, haven't we? So
yeah, we have. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so confused. So technically, we're recording this on the 7th of July. Technically, Nikki's one's going to go out this Friday. Now, I'm hoping there could be a possibility I can get this one that we're doing now out before that. If it's so far, I think it's going to be tight. It's just about how I get the voice notes in, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. But we're good. We're tight. So maybe either you're going to hear Nikki's and Scotty's Beyond the Wire Friday, or you've already heard it and it was last week. But we'll see how it goes. Which leads us on to the Bravo Zulu shout out, which is Scotty's Little Soldiers, Steve.
Yeah, well, Nikki lost her husband in 2009, and I think she said the support from her friends and the regiment was really good. So hats off to the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment at that point, because it was good. But she said she'd noticed that there just wasn't no support for the children, and that's where she had an idea of raising a bit of money to do something for the kids, and then it just seemed to spiral from there, really. And I think a lot of her friends, other wives got involved, other husbands, wives created a small group, and like I say, they come up with Scotty's Little Soldiers. And we joked in the interview, like the colours, because it's black and saffron. It's not yellow, it's saffron. But
you got the ump about that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. She called
Very
it sapphire.
precious.
I know. But and yeah, he's got a corporal badges on, you know, because it's Corporal Scott. That's who it was. It was Lee Scott.
Yeah.
So she's keeping his memory alive. And like I say, they do wonderful things. And it's not just children no more. I think it's up to 25. And it's not just people who are serving. So if a veteran passes away and they've got children, they can support them, which I think is amazing.
And she highlighted that it's a lot of people that have heard of Scotty's think it's about the holidays or the fun stuff, but there's a lot. What was incredible is that there's like engagement groups, and it's more than just the holidays. And it sounds like they're working closely with like the welfare teams to provide, because like everyone focuses on the veteran or the person serving, and they're doing so much to support the families and highlight that sort of care. And I guess I don't want to spoil it because it's quite an incredible interview. So either keep an eye out for that or look backwards and give it a listen. So that's that. Wrapping it up. And as I said, we've had a bumpy couple of weeks, particularly me. So hopefully we're back on track and we'll be more regular. We've spoken about traditions. Any questions, send them in. It's good to be back. I get caught up in so much shit. I think I said in the meeting yesterday, it's like I held my hands up and said I've ended up getting caught up in other shit and forgot about that I do actually enjoy doing this. You know what I mean? If I forget again, Steve, give me a kick up the arse or bite my bum.
I'll poke you in your eye.
Poke me in the eye,
yeah. So the next episode, I think we should do a day in the life. So what's it like to be in a ref reg when you're not on tour? And this ain't a dig at them, but what the fuck do they do? Just saying, what the Royal Engineers do?
Or what's it like to sweep a tank park?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've already started asking a question already, and it's the same no matter what. Apart from the Navy, everyone else does the same. Fuck all.
Fuck all, yeah. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. It's fucking hard.
What's interesting is some of the games that are coming out are quite
really?
funny. Yeah, like the Tankies had off-ground Willy Bum tag.
Yeah.
But there's loads of games I've never heard of. So
yeah, I need to look into it because the Royal Engineers had a card game called Euchre, and I think it was pretty specific to the Royal Engineers, and it was one of them. So it was. I'll look into it, but I remember playing it, or because you had to learn how to play it, and it was like a bit of a game of skill because you worked in pairs. And I remember once I'd learned to play it, it was fucking amazing, really good.
Yeah, it's like Shithead. I forgot how to play Shithead, but what a brilliant game that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
or was it free card bastard break we used to play as well?
Okay,
I don't know how to play that, but it was a good game though.
Right then, that's some of the weird and wonderful traditions from you listeners and us. Thanks to everyone that got involved.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything sent in. Please keep it coming, no matter what it is.
We want to know what the average day's like for those that keep our great nation safe.
From the early morning routine of a ship's cook to the days leading up to trooping in the colour for the household cavalry, let us know.
Get in touch and let us know how boring your day actually was.
Voice notes, DMs, or on a bluey. We're on Facebook at the Muster Point Veterans, X at the Muster Point, TikTok at the Muster Point, and YouTube at the Muster Point Veterans.
Right then, stay safe, look out for your muckers, and stay hydrated.
Until then, parade.
Ladies, you cretin.